It is, well, I think this is still Trekland HQ, and we are live. Viewer aft, viewer forward, your poll results for the Star Trek gap to come. Today on Trekland Tuesdays Live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nivichek, coming right at you here from the heart of Trekland through Portal 47 and everything Trekland for some sanity, some clarity, and the big picture in all things Star Trek. Wow. Bright, shiny new year. Bright, shiny attitude. Is anybody else a little hopeful out there? I know the world keeps chugging along. We have so many issues and problems to deal with, but here in Trekland, and especially after these holidays and a little bit of rest and a climax to Prodigy that was amazing, I think I don't know. I'm going to be curious to see where you all are. If you are new to us, welcome. I keep hearing from lurkers, email or a tweet on the side, or somebody even asking about Portal 47 on the side. So I know you're out there, but feel free if you want to jump in our chat. We've got a wonderful Trekland Tuesdays live community. The TTLers are great. And if you are new, you should know that if you're on Twitter or Twitch, if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube or Twitch, you're going to see all the comments. If you're on Facebook, you're only going to see the Facebook comments. That's just the way Facebook is. Also know that I'm going to get to all the chat in a minute. I'm just weird that way. I want to talk about my topic, and we will get through that, then take a short break. Then I'll come back with a comment on the Parent Analytics, at least, the streaming TV ratings system here, one of the ones used. We've been following for forever. I'll talk about that for a sec, but then I will dive full bore into the chat. We will do a back scroll. Don't worry if you're sounding off now. We will get to your comment, especially your question. And meanwhile, say hi, introduce yourself, give us the weather report. I hope everybody got through the insane weather we've had. Had a month off here, but still a busy time. The dead week was not quite as dead as usual. I always called the week when I worked in news, the week between New Year's, Christmas and New Year's, was the time of year I cleaned out my desk. I cleaned off my desk. It was the time the world went away and I got stuff done that needed to be done. And that's not what happened last week, personally, or apparently in the world at large. So much fun stuff happening. Just want to say that it's a new year, and yeah. I'm going to be talking about some polls. I did a lot of mailing. Now, just to say right off the top here, if we like to say around here, if Trek Santa left you out, if he did, and you're still wanting something from Star Trek related, even for yourself. And hey, if you had a tax, well, it's too late for the tax deductions. In any case, for all kinds of reasons, we extended our 2 gift offers this week. So anyway, the simple one, the 6-month offer, and the double deal that we've been talking about for a long time, which is huge, which combines a seat on our tours coming up in Tuesday on February. That's the other thing. LarryNemichek.com will have all the information about the gifts and also what's coming up. First off, in February, our cruise treks for folks going on the cruise, but you don't have to go on the cruise. A 1-day tour that we do, our Trekland tours, for the basic sites you want to get to. And then the big one in July that I partnered with Terrace Cassidy for, the West Coast Away mission, not done since 2016. That's all at my page. And if you want to get there, and if nothing else, get on the news list, because you can take part in polls like these. Occasionally I'll do them on internet, on Twitch, or on Twitter, or on Instagram especially, or Facebook. Facebook's poll system is really limited these days. It's really kind of meh. But that's what I wanted to do, because I actually wrote a blog post about this and talked about it in one of my last newsletters for New Year's. You know, I remember being a kid in junior high, in grade school, and hearing about Janus, the Roman god who was two-faced, look forward and back. And that was, in January, the month of January comes from his name, Janus. And it is a time, it's in our DNA. We reflect. We've got this calendar, whether it was the Roman calendar or the Gregorian or whatever. It's January's the first month. We have a New Year's Day in the Western world anyway that time, and we look forward to it. We can't help ourselves. We do that with everything: politics, sports, the top stories of, and predictions for the new year and all that. And I think, if nothing else, in the last 7 years, 6 years, we've had Star Trek back enough. We've exited the fallow years, and we can talk about our favorite highlights from the past year. We can talk about what we want to see in the next year. And actually, that's one of the polls that I put out in all the hoopla of gifting and holidaying and holiday messages. So if you were on my mail list, hopefully you got to take part. And we had a bigger turnout. It was getting close to like 8% turnout on it, because not everybody opens an email and not everybody actually clicks through. But I love to put the polls in because it's fun, it's simple, it's not just another email, and it gives us something to talk about here. And it's not scientific by any means, but you get a quasi big sample there. So the first one, how about that Prodigy ending? Now, if you're not familiar, I'm doing a new series, little bit commentaries, little short bits. You don't have to sit through an hour live. So 10 minutes, 12 minutes, called Second Opinion on YouTube. And the goal is to make them weekly. The world gets in the way. But just did a couple for the wrap-up of late Prodigy and then the Prodigy finale. So take a look. It's over on the YouTube page. And, of course, like and subscribe. But and they're starting to get attention. A few hundred people are watching those. But the thing that's the Prodigy revolution is, I think people are figuring it out, that people are so amazed at the depth of character and canon and Star Trek universe that the show is not just for kids. So one of the, as that's a dawning awareness, and I dare say, hopefully, viewers and eyeballs watching it. And hopefully that'll explode once the impact on plain old Nickelodeon is out there for Prodigy. Because now there's 20 episodes and a hunger for more. So this first poll that I asked kind of mid-December, I may have had unfinished results, incomplete results. I basically said, are you watching Prodigy? And this was at the time of the first finale, part 1, but not the final, not the complete finale. And I offered several options, right? So in order of response, and you'll get the pattern here. So the lowest number of people, just 2%, said, I'd like to, but I'm waiting on the discs. Okay, fair enough. That's with all the live action or all the televised Star Trek now. Had a tie for 4%. 4% of my folks said, no, I'm watching no new Star Trek. So, okay, fair enough. There we go. 4% said, I'd like to, but I am unable to watch. So whether that's monetary, whether that's budget, or whether that's tech-wise, they're just not able to. Okay, fine, fair enough. So that's basically 10% right there. So getting above that, 6%, only 6% said, no, it's for kids, right? So you see where this is going. Only 6% said, no, it's for kids. So we jump from there to another 6% who said, no, I'm not watching any animated Star Trek. So Mares and Eric's, you'll just have to, do without that fan club. Here's the biggie, though. Here's the biggie. Oh. 6% said, yes, and I share it with kids. Only 6% are having their kids watch. Do you see where this is leading? 70% said, yes, and I don't even have kids. So I'm going to post this up and post this as a social now that I'm letting you. I want you all to know first. I'm going to put that in a newsletter back for the list, obviously, because I'd like to have as many people as possible get in the habit of doing. We're trying to get, my goal this year is to get more regular with everything, communications, with getting all of my, all the Trekland, Dr. Trek stuff I want to share or get you to think about. Try to get it across all the platforms. I'd like to share it, but I'd like for the Prodigy folks to see that in the glow of finishing up this season, even as they know the second batch of 20 episodes is out there already in some various stages of completion, if not completed already, especially the last little bit. But that was our Prodigy poll, which was amazing. 70% of the folks who responded off my list, again, not scientific, said, yes, I watch Prodigy and I don't even have kids. I love that. I love that. So we had another fun one closer to Christmas. And, we don't talk about merch here. There's plenty of folks who do. I love doing unboxings and reviews on books and Blu-rays. But the vast majority of the merch out there, I don't get into it much here. Although I will say again, where is it? I was going to get a Gwen action figure for Cadet Alice, and they were delayed. They were delayed till after the holidays. So I hope we'll have an avalanche of not just Prodigy, which makes the most sense, but the action figures are coming, and they're still having to, they still got to go by projections of sales. They got to entice the fitting vendors. They don't just wave their wand in licensing. They have to entice. It's a two-way street. And then both sides, especially the manufacturers, have to have confidence they will sell. And remember, it was 5 years before Pocketbooks thought it safe enough to do the next gen companion. It was 4 years before they thought it was safe enough to do the next gen tech manual from Mike and Rick, which was delayed a year. But it took Pocket, super conservative Pocket, not talking about the novels. Novels are easy, cheap. You pay a writer, blah, and you print it. But talking about investing in a big format book back in the day, 4 years before they got the nerve to commission for, even as Star Trek was. And then when they did, they would do little blips of 5,000 printings, 5,000 to a print run, and it would sell out in 3 days. Finally got the message. That's what I'm saying. We're all waiting on the merch and toys. And I don't just mean slap something on a t-shirt, although some of the t-shirts are very creative. But t-shirt is like the bottom of the barrel when it comes. It's what most people rely on because it's all they have. The cool stuff, we're waiting. So my question at holiday time was, how was your holiday gift giving, whether it was Christmas per se or not, whatever you're celebrating, your gift giving? How was you and your Trek experience? And I had several options here, and you'll get the pattern on this too, right? So we said, did you have any Trek involved in your Christmas, in your gift giving? So the lowest sliver got 2.6% says, I didn't ask for any Star Trek or get any, but there were one or two others in my family who did. Okay, fair enough. I was trying to cover all bases. It wasn't a completely Trekless room when the wrapping paper was tossed aside. The next quotient here is 5.1% said, I asked for Trek gifts, but I didn't get any. I almost wish I could run those folks down and throw something at them. just send something. Send them the button. Send them a pin. That was 5%. The next tier up, 10%, said, I asked for something Trek. I didn't get it, but I'm going to just self-gift myself. So, hey, I'm reaching out. There you go. Check out my page. Or maybe you found something else by now, those after New Year's sales. 10% said they wanted something and didn't get it, but they're going to take care of themselves, by God. Yes. 20.5%, I didn't ask and I didn't receive. That almost sounds biblical. So they're fine. 20% didn't ask. 20% didn't receive. Okay. Then we had a tie for first place. So 30.8% said, I didn't ask, but I did receive. Yay, you. Good friends, good family. And 30.8% said, I did ask for a Trek gift, and I got one or more. So what do we have there? We have 30.8%. So 61% got something, whether they ask it or not. And I'm not, doing this to enhance the stock values of the publicly traded Trek vendor manufacturers out there. And it looks like only, only 5% wanted something and didn't. I almost wish we could do a GoFundMe or something for them. And good on you, 10% folks who were just assertive and you're going to take care of yourself, by God, by Kalis. So on New Year's Eve, I succumbed. I did whatever I did it my way, but I did what you're seeing a lot. A lot of the news sites are doing projections for 2023, or they're doing their personal opinions. Um, I could say mine, maybe I will in a minute, but the poll that I did, and this was amazing because this was the biggest turnout I've had in months for this one. I'm really sensing a good vibe. Again, even as much as we've got to deal with in the world, I think coming out of the insanity that we've seen on the East Coast, out of our capital, and that calming down finally, and I think the COVID going away, although, as we'll say, take care out there. I just think people are feeling a little, and getting used to, in our world, most of a year of Trek here. So this one was interesting. I basically said, what are you looking forward to next year? And gave specific answers, mostly season by season, a series by series. So, and I don't have this as out. So I had, what do we have? We had, starting from low to high, 1.5% said they're looking forward to the next Discovery season 5. Pretty, yes, especially my population of folks who have found me. But I will say again, I think this season of Discovery may be the most Star Trek-ish of all. And amid some growing signs, not growing pains, but some growing signs of some real Trekish heart. The last, and I'm talking about the way most fans perceive it. I know Discovery's been very special to a lot of people. They just aren't the type that tend to pop off a lot in public. Whether maybe a little on Twitter, but there you go. 1.5% the biggest, what they're looking forward to, and there is a choice D in here. You'll hear in a minute. 1.5% said that. Then 3% said they're looking forward to the next Star Trek 4 live action film, or whatever that is. Whatever it is, they're looking forward to the next movie the most. Okay, there we go. 3% there. Right. Oh, excuse me. Yes, that's right. Then we have 3% also said they're looking forward to the new season next time of Prodigy. Okay, I think a year ago that would have been basically 0. So 0 to 3. And that's not to take away from Prodigy, but we know what else is coming down the pike, as we love to say around here. So there's that. 4.5%, 4.5 said, hey, I'm just looking forward to enjoying fandom and conventions and events and everything in between. Very cool. Very cool. Now, from there, did we have another? Nope. 18.2% said, no, I'm looking forward to everything. Okay, cool. And we're going to post these. Looking forward to everything. 19.7% said they're looking forward to the coming of Picard season 3, the big TNG reunion, and more. Right? That's 19.7. And a tie, 19.7. This is nearly 20%, said, well, I'm looking forward to more than one. The limitations of the poll, mechanics, we couldn't double up. So I did let people say, I don't have just one thing. I'm looking forward to at least a couple of things. What would that be? Would that be, now wait a minute. Nobody? Now that's interesting. Nobody said they're looking forward to, I just realized this, 0 said they're looking forward to most. They're most looking forward to the new season of Lower Decks, which is surprising. Not that it's a race, not that it's a contest, but the fact that Prodigy at least drew 3%, a few votes, and I just realized that nobody put down for that. And I did have an option also. People are just looking forward to new toys and merch. That was a goose egg also, 0. So maybe they're just being, it's a word to the wise. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, good things are happening. Looking forward to that. Could include watching Ben Robinson scramble and try to lead the effort in a split array of venues, but talking about the comebacks for the existing stock of the Eagle Moss ships and products, where the new ships can come from that were in process, where brand new ones are going to come from as new series go by, new episodes, and the book line that they were putting together. That would be under that. So, you know, a fifth, say that. I mean, but the lower decks. Wait a minute. We're Strange New Worlds. Ah, silly me. The largest category. Strange New Worlds, new season, 28.8%. So 29%. So almost a third, just shy of a third, are saying Strange New Worlds season 2 is what they most look forward to. And then after that, Picard season 3, which is kind of filtering down, I think. There you go. There you go. Of course, we'll have Picard season 3 next, coming February 16th, and the rest to follow on from that. Anything in there surprise you? Anything shock you? Now, it's been a forward-looking, backward year too. As we look forward, I'm looking forward to all of that. Now, I guess people are looking forward to the crossover animation live action show, the crossover show. They're thinking of it more as a Strange New World episode than a Lower Decks, but that's certainly going to heighten the Lower Decks profile if it needs any heightening. I'm still getting over the fact that Prodigy drew more. It's hot, right? It's still fresh and hot and surprising, folks. So factor all that in as you would. But overall, I just did 3 quick ones, bang, 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 through the holidays. We had a lot of email going out. I wanted to, it's the end of the year time. It's the holidays. It brings it out of you. And we were offering a lot of services and gifts. So I was, communicating that, trying to serve our world, but I always try to have something fun. Either it's something from my archives or something in a poll. So yeah, go over to learnandcheck.com and get on the list. And if you do, you'll wind up with 2 or 3 wonderful interviews, some wonderful past Portal 47 interviews, at least a couple from folks as that drips out. But it really, I don't know. I'm curious to see what everybody says. I'm really feeling in a better place, maybe between Trek and the world at large. Maybe it's inevitable. Heaven forbid we're due it. Good Kalis, we're due this by the prophets. I think we're due, don't you? I don't know. As for me, yes, I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm looking forward to even more things settling down. I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to growing Portal 47 and Trekland. I'm looking forward to figuring out the new ways. The world at large discovered Zooming and virtual programming with the pandemic, but we were doing that before. But it is an ever-changing world, and whatever we can do or offer to just, deep dive Trek and texture, not trivia, although no one's saying goodbye to trivia, but you know what I mean. I just keep hoping that I can be of service, and that's why I'm excited about the tours for the cruise folks here in LA coming up, the big one with Terrace the middle of the year, or some paradigms, some models that haven't even been invented yet. I just don't like to see Trek folks. I like experiencing the new altogether, and I like covering the vacuum. I like lighting up the darkness. I like bringing light to what our newer fans and even some who've, been around the quadrant a couple of times, what they may not be aware of. And of course, reverse of that, I love trying to stay up. I'm not going to go in a basement. I'm not going to stand on my porch and not get on the lawn. I really, 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 I've got a granddaughter to keep me busy, and I have a couple of millennial kids, geeks, who are raising Cadet Alice, who are keeping me up to date. But I don't ever want to get sideswiped by everything that we're doing. You can't keep up with it all. But just the experience of growing up in the gens. I know we make fun of the different gens. I make fun of the labeling of the gens. But we all do grow up in different times. We can't help but be molded by our times. And sometimes we react away from the majority of our times. I think my youngest son is an outlier to his generation. He's always rolling his eyes at the people his own age he has to work with. He had old soul parents, I think. But that's kind of my wish. Is this sounding like New Year's resolutions? I didn't mean for it to be. but just looking forward to the future. And next week, barring some new news, I want to talk about that a little more next week, because right now the other bottom line story is we're sitting here with a 7-week hiatus, the end of Prodigy till the beginning of Picard season 3. I know the last time we had a big major hiatus, when we even thought that way, the world used to be a Star Trek hiatus. I called it the fallow times, the fallow era. But now we've got Trek most of the time, most of the years. And the fact that they have overlapped, which I wish they wouldn't do, but they've overlapped comings and goings, finales and premieres a time or two, meant that the gap of no Trek is not just a couple of weeks. It may be 4 or 5. Now we're looking at 7. Okay, fair enough. Maybe that's a new poll. What are you going to do with your Trek hiatus time? I asked this about a year ago. Maybe we should do that again too. Anyway, 2023, here we are. This is the last week for the tree to be up back there. I just hope everybody's, I'm curious. We'll see what the kind of mood everybody is in. All right. And look, if you are watching us later on YouTube and you're missing this in the moment conversation, I know it's Tuesday afternoon, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. But we are 8 p.m. UK time and 9 p.m. Central Europe, which is why we're always global with our chat crowd. I love that too. We have blindsided opinions here with our Americanness. I love it when the globals, our worldwide Trekkies come in, and Australia. I know you're out there, Narda. I love it when we get that perspective too. You can't help. The more, the merrier. Keeps you out of your ruts without your blinders. And we live in a world today, for whatever angle, whatever level you're existing on and working in, you cannot afford to sit there with your blinders on, no matter what it is, even in Star Trek. So I appreciate that. But hey, if you are watching us later, try to catch us live sometime. It's great. But even so, leave your comments below, of course. All righty. Once again, come over to my page. We've got info about both Treks coming up, LarryNemecek.com. You can get on my list. You can find about our gift offers expire the 6th. We extended them past New Year's. I had a kerfluffle on New Year's Eve and sent the wrong email. So I thought, okay, a year-old email. So to avoid confusion, we'll just extend it to the 6th. So if you're on my list and you're going, what is he talking about Picard season 2? That's why. But we made up for it very quickly. Thank you, MailChimp. That's to the 6th, all righty? Otherwise, as always, it's a fresh new year, and I want to thank all of our Patreons, Diana Hopkins, Lawrence Todd, Keith Rombach, Nathaniel Robinson, Robin Wilson, Anne-Marie Siegel, Justin Porteous, Andrew Dzimski, Pranakasha Productions, Gay Clevin Lundstrom, and Galinda Bruton. Thank you so much. And our live wires, you betcha. Halbjorn Gunn Johnson, Robert McLean, Alan Hoensi, J.R. Poole, Byron Bailey, Dave Gregory, and Casey Shafsky. Thank you guys so much. If you want to jump in our Patreon, we've got things we're about to announce here. It's $5 a month, $10 a month. I keep it simple. It's not complicated. It's a shout out. And we are getting ever closer to having those back catalog interviews with folks from the early Portal 47 days available to our live wires on that $10 level. And a lot of folks took the holidays off. I took last week off, but we have been chugging along with the Trek Files. Today, a look at Gene's secret formula for Star Trek, circa 1975. Today on the Trek Files on Facebook, the documents there were the only podcast with paperwork. Trek Files hashtag podcast.roddenberry.com. Are you up to date with all the podcasts? And speaking of podcasts, I'm not prepared, but I believe it's the 12th. Yes, 14th. I'll have more on this next week, but it's Trek Talks 2, the big combination effort between Roddenberry Podcasts and the Trek Geeks Network and John Billingsley and the Hollywood Food Coalition here fighting hunger. They had a huge turnout, a whole day long of a lot of Star Trek friends, families, celebrities. I'm going to host a panel. The panels are all too short because we've got so many people taking part, and it's kind of like a one-day old school telethon. And it's John's passion project, and a bunch of the rest of us took it up as a passion project too. So that's the 14th, Saturday, all day Saturday, most of the day. Looking forward to that too. Otherwise, hey, I got to update this sucker. Larry Nemechek on Twitter and Mastodon, and I think I'm going to be on Post too till all this settles out. We'll see. Twitter hasn't collapsed yet or gotten extremely unugly, so we'll see what happens. But it's Trekland, Larry Nemechek, right here where you are on YouTube. Please like and subscribe, or Facebook. Follow us, and of course on Instagram, and it's portal47.net if you want to check out the program and the features. But if you want to join, make sure and dig out those specials. Don't do the regular offer. Go get the specials. Get all the extra stuff. All righty, everybody. That's it for now. If you're watching later, you're leaving us. The live gang are still going to be around for a bit. But if you are leaving us, I'll just say, please, stay healthy. Do all the things. There's an NXX 1. There's a little bug that's looking like it's going to be very resilient, and I hope it doesn't crowd out. I hope it doesn't go. Hopefully it'll just take up the narrow bandwidth of the infections that were going to happen by odds anyway, the typical band. So I'm saying, great kid, don't get cocky. Crossing streams. Yes. Do all the things, folks. Stay healthy. Stay woke. Check your sources. You know, Trek well, everybody. Alrighty. That wasn't for show. I needed it. Okay. I can't wait to get into the chat here, gang. And we'll get there pretty quick because I checked in with our friends at Parrot. No, I just checked the site. And there's been no updating of any of the Parrot Analytics statistics since December 16th, the last ones that we had. And if you are new to TTL here, Parrot Analytics is one of the companies we've been following since 2017, the dawn of Discovery's premiere. But for 2 or 3 years before that, they were trying to give meaning to all the digital streaming, the spike. It's feeling like we've seen the revolution in digital content originating. You know, Netflix and Prime, and yes, Paramount Plus, and Apple Plus, and Disney Plus, and Discovery Plus, and Plus Your Plus. Are we seeing a pullback? Was the boom destined to end at some time? All the money being spent. It's amazing how much good content. No, I don't mean applesauce. I mean really good dramas and mysteries and comedies, and money spent on period pieces and visual effects. Just so much money put into programs, and nobody could see it. It was just too much TV, and it's going to be sitting there for years now. Who knows what will happen to that? Maybe we're sealing a comeback for that. But Parrot Analytics was a company that was trying to measure that because they don't release their ratings. It's not like the old days with commercial rates set for commercials by the old terrestrial advertisers networks. And we all saw the ratings. You might argue with the system, with the methodology, but there you go. Anyway, Parrot Analytics puts out what they use their average demand expression. They're looking at the internet plus whatever hardcore numbers they can get beyond that. But they haven't updated the numbers since then. We last saw Prodigy on an upsweep. I would love to see updated numbers for Prodigy because I think the last 3-4 episodes of Prodigy made believers out of a ton of Star Trek fans and viewers worldwide. And the thing about Prodigy, more so than anything else, it's going to be factoring in thanks to the Nickelodeon impact and unspooling, launching Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon around the rest of the world, or getting not only Paramount Plus running around the world, but getting Prodigy on the global Nickelodeon networks as well, because it's different by different countries and language. So we'll see what's up with that. And then, of course, we've got 7 weeks of hiatus, and the buzz for that Picard season 3, aka the TNG reunion, and more. The buzz for that is going to do nothing but just go off the charts, literally. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, no new parrots this week, so that means I am back scrolling and going to the top of the charts here. Speaking of, so it's so good to see everybody. I can't wait to hear how everybody's doing. Again, hope the weather has settled down for you wherever you are. But yes, happy 2023 to everybody. Happy Tacky Cardassian Fascist Eyesore Day. Okay, Nathaniel, that was a mouthful, but yes, good to see. Happy everybody's waving Happy New Year here. And thanks for even everybody on Twitch, or for those of you who are homesteading over there. Janet Bullock, hello. Good to see you over on YouTube. And John X, you made it live if that's been an issue lately. Yay, yay, yay. Hi, Alonka. I haven't heard from you for a while. Yay. Anne Marie, yay. Oh, something else I should mention since I see Anne Marie's. Everybody be paying attention. I think they close tomorrow night, but check the seventh rule. Help me out here. The Live Long and Prosper Awards second edition is also coming up. The award show is not until later February, but the voting is going on now for nominations. It's fan-voted favorites, some you'd expect in the categories, and some really creative, fun categories as well, just for fun. I did my voting last night, finally. It's still in the nominations round. They're looking for finalists, so there's long lists of things to vote for. But again, the categories you'd expect, and it's all based on 2022. The categories you'd expect, episodes, series, characters, situations, and the things you don't expect. So the Lappies are coming again, and I'm going to help do the after awards show where we react to everything. And that's coming up at the end of February. But right now, you can check the Virtual TrekCon Facebook page and related socials. Check the Seventh Rules podcast. This is Ryan and Sirach and all of their teams, baby. And that's coming too. I meant to mention that. And yay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Com. I started talking about this today, and I didn't want to cram it in with everything else. So I'm really going to talk about this next week. In fact, I've got a little resilient residual Janus forward and back commentary that I want to make with this too. Very proud to be part of that. And hi, Cairo, coming at us from, he's telling. Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt your circle of helloing there. Hey, May. Good to see you there. What was this, John? 6 weeks of anticipation for live Trek. I know. Hey, Yes, right here in LA. Good to see you. Happy New Year's, everybody. Well, hi, Tumor Boy. Wow, we have a lot of folks still on break, not at work today, maybe. Good to see you. So on Twitch too. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. This I've heard, Cairo. We've had this insane polar tornado bomb, but Central Europe, you've been having way too much warm weather, and it's getting really dry. It's unseasonably warm. So what? The new wears off after a day. I bet the ski resorts aren't having fun. People have gone to the Alps for skiing or wherever. Hey, Daniel. Good to talk and see you again. Yay. I love our YouTube contingent. Hey, Andrew. Thank you. Thank you for being a Patreon too. This is basically it, Cairo. We're coming from the biggest year ever, looking forward to another. Because basically, if you have 10 episodes a series and you got 5, that's pretty easy math. 5 times 10, that's 50. You got 52 weeks in a year. How many times are the series going to overlap by a week or two? And yeah. The fallow years are long gone, thank goodness. You would think. Do you think maybe after 2 of these now the world will get it that this Star Trek thing isn't a fluke? That they're going to milk Trek fans with crappy content, at least for a while. But if they put something good out, the fans are happier, The network is happier. The merchandisers are happier. They don't have to have such a long lead time. It's amazing how you have to have such a long lead time for action figures and for trusting that that audience really exists. But, you know, they're the ones who are closest tied to the bottom dollar. Hey, Alan. Howdy, howdy. And thank you for being a Patreon folk, too. Hey, Janet, you come to the good place. Has any news about Section 31 show you been announced yet? Nope. They still mentioned it. In fact, just the other day, it was mentioned again. But it's kind of fallen victim to her schedule and just the gap. Of course, with Picard going away, there's a gap. There's a slot there. Who's going to get the slot? Is it going to be Section 31? Is it the Academy show? You know what? It was the Academy show that I saw mentioned the other day. So we will see. We will see. Silly rabbit. Kicks are for trids. I know, Daniel. So I'm caught up with Prodigy, but Cadet Alice and I are still at mid-season. I've got 2 to post, and we got 2 done last weekend. She stayed with us over the dead week. So, I'm learning the best ways and times of day to watch with her and then record a show right afterwards. So, yes, Janet, absolutely. I think the world is figuring out that there is plenty for the adults to figure out. There's some things I have to explain to her. Sometimes it's just more fun knowing the backstory. If you're a veteran fan, you know, they are really artfully very much aware of how they produce a show for first-time viewers, kids or otherwise. So that's never a handicap. That's never a goal too far, right? You're probably one of those 70% of Prodigy viewers without a kid. Yep. Hello, Duralta. I feel like saying hi to everybody since we've taken a break and it's New Year's and all that. So your favorite episode so far has been Kobayashi Maru of Prodigy. That's showing up in a lot of the, I think that showed up in some of we were just talking about the Lappy Awards. I think that showed up in one of their categories or more. John X says, of course I'm watching Prodigy. Excellent season. Still a noticeable story shorthand that simplifies it for kids a bit, yes. But it can appeal to older people too, and not just Trekkies. Well, here's the thing. If you are a seasoned veteran, it's like I did a second opinion about, but what about the negotiations? Flew right by if you weren't paying attention in context with Romulans. And when you do the math and you realize what year it is, you realize they're talking about the supernova evacuations without it being a story point at all. So yeah, it's a compressed format. And rather than going 90 miles a minute with dialogue and visuals, the way Lower Decks compresses you into 22 minutes, Prodigy is giving every idea, unless it's central to the plot, unless it's the 5 main plot points, everything else, it gets a line or a word or a mention. And if you're on top of, which is great, if you're a veteran fan, you spot them say the negotiations, you do the math. And if you're not, it just sounds good and you move on. It really is the best of the old school, Warner Brothers cartoons, or the original series for that matter. You're enjoying it on 2 levels. And in this case, if it's an age difference, then that is cool. And there we go. Waiting for the Prodigy Blu-ray. Yeah. Sorry to hear about the delay. That Alice sure would love to get it from Santa. Hopefully we'll be getting it later from you. Oh, Gwen. Yeah, the Gwen. Shh, don't tell her. Don't tell her. Well, new Hallmark Enterprise from Strange New. That's about it. Well, there you go. A little trek in your Christmas, John. Okay. Well, here you go. All right. Now we're into the gift lists, and everybody's going to bury me and bury us in all of that. Oh, Cairo. No Trekkies around to give or receive anything Trek. Well, what about that Vienna group that you have? Oh, well. Okay. I didn't have to be your cohabitants. I'm sure you'll take care of yourself, though. We're all self-gifters, right? Yes, self-gifters, not self-grifters. Big difference there. But I would like to think at some point, yeah. Now, when you go to the trouble of wrapping it so you can be surprised and in mock excitement, I don't know. Well, see, Susan, this is what I mean. You didn't have to ask; they just knew, right? They just automatically knew. Uh, cool, cool that you've got that kind of a family that's paying attention. Oh, that's very sweet, Christoph. Your New Year's card from Japan from 27-year-old Trekkie. I remember when she was 20, 23-year-old Trekkie, 22-year-old Trekkie. She has to change it every year. That's cool. Sometimes she's able to join us. There you go. Well, you just cleaned up, Dave. So good on you. The new cookbook. Yeah. What new cookbook? Aha, it's coming. It's not a celebrity cookbook, but it has Well, see, this is the thing, May. I was not knocking t-shirts. Minimalism in this time. What's her name? Popularized extreme minimal, and we've had such a reaction to hoarding and the emotionalism behind that. So everybody find your thing. I'm certainly not going to knock anybody who has a hobby and collects whatever it is, obscure thing you love collecting. That would just be an idiot of me. Everybody find your own way. Absolutely. But yes, lots of things coming down the Captain Pike for sure. This is true. And I think one of the casualties of the Eagle Moss fallout was Nana's book looking for a publisher. I have to think it's going to. I have to think it's going to find one, including whatever the Eagle Moss book line turns into, where it lands. Hopefully it's just not splintered with existing contracts and there is nothing like it. I have to think Nana's book is going to find a place. You have Neelix's. There's some really... Do I have my old ones up here? There was an old original little paperback 70s one that was an expanded... No, it was big silver, and then it was put out as just a little paperback. The original 70s one. No celebrity. It was just made some New York writer, talked Bantam into doing it. Valentine. But yeah, the Neelix cookbook has been kind of the biggest one since then. Lots of fanzine type cookbooks over the years too. I think we've had a couple of them on the Trek Files. What? The next installment of Trekland Tuesdays Live is not an option on the poll. Oh, Andrew, good answer. Good answer. But I didn't want to seem unseemly to my... Yeah. But good answer. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you're not looking forward to Picard Season 3, Nathaniel. The poor resolution of immigration and refugee storylines still burns me. I know. And as hard as this is, I think, as much as we talk about the hard early birth of Discovery, it has settled into a consistent writing room. And there may be people who have come and gone. I think Sean Cochran is still with Discovery, and he's been there since almost day one. The early turnover. Lower Decks and Strange News is barely out of the gate. They've all got strong showrunners and Prodigy. They've been fairly consistent with their writing. I think the series that has, I don't want to say suffered, but has shown the turnover from year to year to year, with different people in charge. In fact, basically, even though Terry was there for season 2, the load when 2 and 3 were going to be filmed back to back, I think his heart was in 3, and it was more and it was going to be more complex, and they were going to have it ready to go as soon as filming was done on 2. So that had to be accelerated. So we might have to wait a year, but they didn't. So I think Picard out of the gate here early, aside from the early years, the early crazy of Discovery, I think Picard is going to be the Trek series that has had, I'd say turnover, but has had a different person on top every year. And it may show that. So the bottom line, the silver lining for you is don't judge season 3 by season 2. But I hear you. I hear you. Maybe books, comics can get in and resolve, can flesh some of this out. Because, even in the era of arcs and storytelling, but across the board, that what you're talking about here, unresolved issues in one season of a Trek series, it wasn't new to season 2 Picard. And at times others have found ways to flesh that out, even if it's a later series 30 years later. Even if it's the Pegasus mystery, which didn't need any fleshing out. Looking forward to Picard, February 16th, most obvious. The other 2 live shows not long after. Yeah. You'll believe 2023 merch when you see it. I know, Anne-Marie. Thanks again for bringing us our baby Murph. Now we have to call that baby Murph, right? Pre-hatchling Murph, I guess. Think that Star Trek Day in April will be First Contact Day, you mean? I know. It's the April Star Trek Day. April will technically be First Contact Day, but you're expecting an announcement then? That could be. You, Daniel, are looking forward to PS3, LDS4, and SNWS2. And while we're on the subject of acronyms, you guys want to take, I think I broke a little news in my new second opinion. Second opinion? What did I do? I think it was. Anyway, there's a little acronym code, or if you follow my Twitter very closely, I don't think it's come up anywhere else. But there you go. Who's on Twitch? Baba Reba? Is that trying to spell Baba Reba? Hello, sir. I hope. Thanks for joining us. And if you were not aware, if somebody didn't tell you, we're not talking directly, but the time you posted this. So I hope you hang in if you enjoy Star Trek at all. We'll see. Picard being released on Feb 16. What a huge missed opportunity. They should have released it on January 17th, 1701. I know. Maybe it is a projection. That's an interesting question. I'd love to know what, because there's so much at play right now. And you've got live action and animation. And everybody's coming out of the COVID delays of their own in-house, issues, whatever's going on. It'll be interesting to talk with these folks, not just the showrunners, but the people, the producers, and the people at Paramount Plus. What drives those decisions? We didn't have to think about this in the old days. It was just there. The closest thing you'd have to individual decisions was what shows to put up for sweeps month, or when to take a skip over a holiday and when not to. I mean, you had those kind of issues going on. You would think they would be able to, that it's physically ready to go. All the post has been done and they're cut and edited and scored and all of that. So I don't know. I guess somebody, some of the new team I keep talking about. Whenever I see an issue with the mechanics of production, or even getting a movie started, or the lack of toys, I look at the big picture and think it's still residual ripple effects not being resolved from the remerger, from the remarriage. But we'll see. You're a clear vote for everything. Okay, we'll put you down for that, Cairo. Hey, Adrian, it's been a while, I think, since we've seen you. Good to see you. Yay. The release, well, by waiting that long to kick off, I think maybe they wanted to wait that long till February and then have it be nonstop with no more delays. So we'll see. That may also get them through the holiday. They may not have wanted a holiday break. So Prodigy's finale was the week after Christmas, right? Yes. Technically. Although the animes especially got released in bunches and batches for the press and the media screeners. 4 at a time, 5 at a time. John X. Terry Metalis' excitement for his own show is infectious, isn't it? Yes. And Terry and I have had a delayed date going. So I'm hoping to catch up. But I don't even care about spoilers for the season. I just want to know about his story so far. Because I think you all know that Terry he sold some scripts on Enterprise, but he did that because he was on the track of being an assistant. He was Brannon's assistant for the last few years of the Berman era. I need to go back and check exactly if it was the end of Voyager, or I knew he was there first season Enterprise, but I think he actually came in at the end of Voyager. And then he was there for that one season when there were all the X-Files type spinoff shows. There were 3 on in 1 year, and Brannon's and partners was called Threshold, 1 season. And Brent was in the regular cast for that. Lasted 1 season, but they stayed in their same office for that. And then when it got canceled, things split up. And then, of course, Terry had 12 Monkeys, of which he's mining concepts and actors and backstage crew folk all over the place. So yeah, it's fun to watch him. He's very humble though. He shunned a lot of. He was working, so he's a hard worker, and he shunned a lot of there'd be a Comic-Con and there'd be a Picard panel, and I'm like, where are you? I DM him and say, where are you? He said, I'm at home working. So I'm so glad all this is. I hope all the part of the glow for Picard season 3. Part of the glow for Picard season 3 is me being excited for Terry, and his excitement. Yes, it is infectious and contagious, I hope. Well, then, Janet, I think you're going to have a full year. That's a lot. Sorry, Melanie. We did all the things here. Sorry about that, but good to see you. One gift you're waiting for are the final 8 episodes of Prodigy season 1. Oops. Did we spoil too much there, Christoph? Sorry. P+ promise. This is European, right? This is the GSA, which now I can think of. Germany, Switzerland, Austria. P+ promised to release them to GSA next Monday, January 9th. All right. All at once. So no dribbling out the weeks. So good. I'm all for legal viewing of Star Trek. Or, do what you have to do. And let's see. Yeah. Oh, we're so spoiled, Melanie. We're so spoiled. We got through 12 years of no weekly small screen Trek. And a whole generation now has no idea what that was like. Just like a whole generation has no idea. 2 generations have no idea what the 70s and 80s were like in between the original and the next generation. It was a concept, a paradigm shift to think you would have new weekly Star Trek. How would that work? These guys are good. We'll have other time periods and other settings and formats. Voila, Star Trek invents the franchise, the small screen franchise. What now? You use the Trek hiatus the way you're always doing, writing. Good on you. Good on you. I had an old friend. I've got to post a picture to Twitter, but it's on Instagram. The old original StarTrek.com team, which was laid off en masse that crazy December, right before the holidays, December of 2007, a week after we covered the Star Trek strike day, the writer's strike Star Trek theme day. We had our 15-year layoff reunion last night, and I posted some pics. It'll be on Twitter soon, but it's on my Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. Absolutely, John. Absolutely, because the more the merrier. I just like not being caught in my American blinders. Yeah. Oh, Melanie, might as well. Might as well. Yes, Strange New World Blu-ray is great. The extras, that's one thing you have to say about the modern era. They document the hell out of everything. I think they're thinking about 3 format releases down the line because it's been so difficult as the whole feature of bonus features was invented, in the aughts. Yeah. Seeing how shorthanded all the legacy Treks were for that, and what a scrape it is to come up with something creative. So now they're just shooting everything massively. Hello, Ren. Now, have you been with us before? Maybe so, but I'm glad you're here with us now. Happy New Year to you. Merry Trexmas and all the rest of it. And glad you could join us and on YouTube as well. Our YouTube gang is slowly, gradually growing. So yay. Trekland was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Why do I hear a cast member from Cheers' voice doing that? Do I have any schedule for any releases beyond Picard? I was trying to think. They haven't given a Strange New release yet, have they? Was it in April? That would be 10 weeks, would be February, March, and no, it would at least be May. It would at least be May for Strange New, if that's where that's going. Oh, I would have this question too. Dinner for one. Do we all get some turtle wax? This must be some throwback to gifts. Turtle wax gives a hard shell finish. Turtle wax. Anybody remember that jingle? Hey, Susan, good to see you. Just to let me know, Trekland Tuesday starts here in the UK at 10 p.m. and not 8 p.m. Really? I thought the UK was 8 hours ahead of me. I meant to say 9, not 10. Really? Well, I was late as usual, so maybe that's what it's looking like. But accurately, 1 o'clock. It's 8 hours from Pacific to GMT time, and 9 to Central Europe. So sorry about that. We'll figure it out. But glad you're with us anyway, Susan. And there you go. Thank you for handling all the translation chores, Melanie. There we go. Oh, really, John? The Ken Adams one was a surprise? You didn't know about the Ken Adams? You had never seen the Ken Adams artwork, or just knowing that? Yeah. And it was good to have Ben on. I'm expanding my definition of Trek professional from the shows to Trek authorities, and we have family members of people too. So, all right. The first half of 22 was a funny year. First half was good. Second half was rough. Yes. Meeting you at Mission Chicago. And you're a big fan of Shuttle Pod 1. Give them a shout out. Yes, indeed. And all our thoughts there are with Dominic too, as he gets over whatever it was that kept him out of the podcast. Yes. Very true. Gosh, I wonder why, Melanie. I wonder why. We need that weather modification. Well, we need smarter people taking better custodial care of the planet, but we can also use that weather modification net too from the 24th century. I mean, they can fix Risa. They can certainly fix us. Do I have a New Year's Eve tradition, Doralta? If so, what TV shows do you traditionally watch, and do you know Dinner for One? I've heard of Dinner for One. I think I watched it on YouTube. It is not a thing in the US. It's a British thing that got adapted to the continent years ago in early TV. I know the story of it, now, but I know a lot of people watching today have no idea. But it's not part of... It's a quaint thing I can watch from the rest of the world. I don't really have... The last few years, I have a friend that's had a game party on New Year's Eve night. We haven't gone out clubbing in a long time. It's not Janet's favorite thing to do. We were out for the millennial turn. I remember 1999. It wasn't as big and flashy as we thought. But yeah, I have memories of some funny New Year's over the years, including back in Oklahoma when we drove a host crazy. We got into the confetti early one year. He's never let us forget that. Looking at you, Confather Leonard. And I don't really have a TV show tradition. I was never even a parade person in Oklahoma. The Rose Parade was just another parade in the morning. And now out here, the Rose Parade is cool. And I realized the local tradition, they could care less what the rest of the world thought, aside from the people that were sending, bands and other, entries. But to the point now where people hate the network coverage, and the local KTLA, which now can stream, they show it nonstop, wall to wall. It's like the old days when they would talk about wall to wall convention coverage at the political conventions, when the networks were cutting in and out of most of it. It's that kind of thing. It's the wall to wall Rose Bowl coverage, parade, that is. But no, I don't. We don't have any New Year's traditions. I think I've had different ones at times and eras when I was a little kid. My mom got these round crackers that came in a tube. But I know, some rest of my family has the black eyed peas thing for meal. But we don't even do that. We just kind of go, okay, what's happening today? Let's keep resting. But I know a lot of people have their certain TV show they binge. Even before binging was a thing, it was a special thing to run all the Twilight Zones or all the whatever. But no, hope that's not too disappointing. I'm just, again, glad for a quiet day where I can get caught up on stuff. Hopefully. There you go. We will, yes. We'll see everybody at Trek Talks on January 14th. I think my panel, I have a visual effects panel at 5 p.m. Pacific. Sadly, it's going to have great people. I'm not going to announce who because they need to do that. But I've got 5 amazing people you all know crammed into 20 minutes. I know. But it's all for the good. It's not to enlighten ourselves and stroke ourselves egos. It's all for Hollywood Food Coalition and doing good. So it's all to that. And it's sad that Trek Talks 2 has just got so many billion people from the Trek family who want to help take part, that they've got an abundance of riches. Hey, Michael, good to see you. And this seems to be a live stream you repeatedly visit. It's all rather new to me. Usually I don't have the patience for Larry and Star Trek. I do. Well, thank you, Michael. And thank you. I try to have the patience for Star Trek too. And fans on the edge sometimes. But thank you. You're a big commenter on YouTube. So thank you. I'm saying that to all the YouTubers and all of you who are YouTube adjacent. Appreciate you leaving comments after the fact. It makes it look like it's actually a living thing. So thank you. And thanks for finding something you enjoy in our little time together here. Nightshirt Larry. Oh, this is, for some reason, this is like here, I'll see. It's like, it has this interesting kind of bottom. See? I either feel like I should it's a New Year's shirt, or I should be doing like modern country with it or something. I don't know. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, it's a nice nightshirt, I think, too. It's not a nightshirt. Today was a rough day. This was like coming back, getting things together. First show in a couple of weeks. And 3 polls. The MailChimp automatic poll tallier does not work. So I had to do my own math at the last minute. Very true. Absolutely. Prayers for those traveling. Or everything everywhere all at once. Yeah. Hey, John X, who's doing your Second Thoughts short snazzy graphics, Larry? Well, that is thanks to who's not on with us today. I think that's thanks to my part-time my assistant, Scott Martin, and his associates. Kyle sometimes, I think, is in on that too. But yeah, so yay. You enjoy them? We realized that, I still don't want to just pile on and say the same thing everybody else is talking about. I got to have my own angle. And sometimes, even when we cut this down to 30 minutes, it gets lost. So for the YouTube crowd, for everybody who's only got 5 or 10 minutes at most and get to the point, that's what Second Opinion is for. And it's also something to be more topical about. This, I try to be a little more reflective and not be so hot-headed and reactive, but Second Opinion can be. And even then, I don't want to just pile on. I don't trying to be this, if a show drops at midnight Pacific Thursday, a new Star Trek, I don't mean to be the first one there with my thing. I got the screener and mine is ready to go at 6 a.m. I'm going to be mindful of the Europeans and the rest around the world who are getting it a day later. My ideal, which I'm still reaching for, is to do something for Saturday. So everybody has time to see the original, and everybody's had time to kind of sample what everybody else who's doing usually, good reaction shows, review shows. And again, I don't want to do a straight review show. I just want to do my reactions. So yeah. And again, maybe connect some dots that the rest of the world is missing, or just my own bizarre, unique reaction to it because of something I ate in 1983. Who knows? But there you go. So thank you, Scott, and thank you, Kyle. And for those leaving us now, you're going to quote Ronnie Cox. May the road take you safely home. Safely? Okay. May the road take you safely home, too. Polly wants more new Trek. Why? Let's see. Yes. Yes. And if you see my new Second Opinion, I think I get into Janeway's headache line, too. It still gives me a headache. Okay, we got metric system. We've got global weather. And yes, I realize this. I know the world's going to be celebrating DS9. I meant to do a shout out to DS9's 30th. Although, like TNG, DS9 was syndicated, so it showed up on different dates, first dates around the country. And there you go. I wondered if that's what you meant, but there you go. Boom. Thank you. All preliminary polls are up in the virtual TrekCon group on Facebook, correct? Yes. Thank you, Anne-Marie and Dave. Lappy Awards via the Seventh Rule Star Trek podcast. Absolutely. So here's my push to go vote, because the more votes, as I had in my polls, the more votes, the merrier, and more representative. Although the musician moment, I cannot believe, even in the long list of that's the one I had an issue with. Where was Adam from Way to Eden Space Hippies? Adam and his space guitar. I was not down for the musicians category. I was so disappointed. Can't be DS9's 30th anniversary. You returned. That means sorry. Did I not put the spoilers up about Deadly Math? Sorry, Duralta. Uh-oh. You're going to have to tell me something. Daniel, tell me and Starfleet Boy and Tex Trek and Trek on the Tube have been an influence on you. You've started doing Sunday school videos on your church's YouTube channel. Well, good. Good deal. I mean, what can be wrong no matter what you're doing? It's the way of the future. It's the way of the world, especially since the pandemic. It's the way we're going to be communicating. It's fast, it's efficient. And if you talk for more than 5 seconds, it can't be misconstrued like a tweet can or a Facebook post. I mean, you can cover all the bases. Everybody's got their passions, everybody's got their interests, but I just have to think that staying on top of a changing world and evolving world of tech and doing something you love and are passionate about But communication is not a bad thing, no matter what the channel is. The more we're communicating with each other, we're having a contact, which is good too, even if it's not physical. But the pandemic showed that we can keep our sanity even through Zoom. It doesn't have to be just be educational conveyance of ideas. We can actually feel the connection, and when connection is part of it, whether it's your religion or whether it's the religion of Trek, it doesn't have to be sterile. We love our personal contact, of course, but I don't care what the topic is. There can never be too much communication in this world. Now, having said that, I know a few people I'd like to have a little less communication with, but that's more of a personal thing, I think. Hey, Dominic, good to see you. You're like Merritt Buttrick in Symbiosis. You're in serious Trek withdrawal. We've been treated too good since 2016. Well, now, we had gaps. When Discovery was the only show, you had to wait a year. So it still didn't really sink in until the last year, really. I had a Tuesday topic. I was looking at it the other day. I was running through old shows, and one of my Tuesday topics was, what does a full year of Star Trek look like? Because no one was used to it yet. Anybody around for that one? Anybody remember that being a topic? A Tuesdays Live? And John X, I forget where you are exactly, but your polar vortex is over you guys. Yeah, it lasted about 3 or 4. Even here, we were affected somewhat. We had rain. We had 4 or 5 days of just rain, which was a little sad. The holidays. Then it went away, and then it came back just in time for New Year's Eve. Rain and fog. But there we go. Oh, you're in Boston, Michael. Okay, yeah. Well, Christoph, you have the same attitude I do, that this is a great time of year to do some house cleaning, and maybe that means server cleaning, but there you go. Farewell to the fallow years. Yes. Hail and farewell. Okay. Does anyone have any more insight into the canceling of all the Trek cons? Well, if I can take a shot at that. I think I've kind of talked about this recently. Maybe I'm thinking more of our Portal 47 Ask Dr. Treks with just our paid Portal 47 group. But basically, I think it's a combination of the studio going through a massive remerge and new people coming to work hands-on with events and licensing and marketing, and knowing the fan world variously and knowing the event and the talent world variously. That's grown, which is good, but there's a lot of growing pain there and just lack of experience and hands-on. And at the same time, the event world, which they wanted to go higher with to a higher level, wants templates. They don't want to have to baby anything. And I just think somewhere in all that mix, you're seeing of course, it doesn't affect veterans like Creation. It doesn't affect fans and regional cons and the Comic Cons and things that have gone on. But this world of license, both with DST in Europe and Reed Pop in the States, I think there's an expectations and goals, and then just new faces involved, complicating all that. That's my no insider, a little insider awareness, but just looking at human nature and the way our pendulums swing, and thinking what the real world implications are of some of the uprootings lately. I mean, generally, yes, getting CBS, Mama CBS and Papa Viacom Paramount back together was a good thing, but it's still going to be a little bit of a rough ride there as things get smoothed out. And it's been a couple of years, and it's going to be that way still. It might be more palatable as a Michelle Yeoh vehicle than a Section 31 show. Oh, okay. Hey, Rose, it's good to see you, milady. Top chat. When will the question I asked the 7th December be answered on YouTube? I don't know, Rose. Can you re-ask it here? I feel like I'm back in that Monty Python sketch, phone in. Just give her a show already. Just give her a show already. Yeah. Oh, the Logan's Run TV show is great. Even on a 1978 level. But seriously, that Harlan rehash was funny and a great Trek Files. Thank you. I was aware of that memo, and I'd been trying to think, well, who could we get to talk about Harlan? And I'd reached out to Ben Robinson to be a guest, and I said, is there anything wacky besides ships? And he said, oh, this Harlan Ellison memo. And I'm like, what? And he had I had no idea that Harlan had sold that and he sold the story now. Notice they got some just, everyday TV writer to do the script. And I don't mean to knock his career, but it's nobody you'd ever heard of. I mean, it was the 70s, but just a workaday TV writer made it habitable. But, watching the 70s production values and direction and blocking, everybody like running, breathlessly delivering lines. It's like you had to be 60 before anybody had character. You had to have the weight of your own life before anybody could have gravitas at a young age. But thank you, Dominic. Glad you enjoyed it. And we're all, of course, got our thoughts with Ben as he tries to get things. Hi, Gay Lynn. Thank you for being a Patreon, and glad you got your way back. Oh, my goodness. COVID, RSV, pneumonia, even though you were all vaxxed. Well, folks, this is what I mean. Do all the things, and even then you still have to watch it. But I'm glad you're back with us, Gay Lynn, and thank you for being a Patreon. Yeah, thank you for being a live wire, in fact. Sinkyra, with the title of the season finale, I guess you mean Prodigy. They're coming for me. And I guess you mean Supernova Part 2. You start wondering if they'd eject their protostar core and actually cause the supernova that destroys Romulus. That would have been too much, I guess. Well, hang on to your bohunkus. We're what, 5 years before the actual explosion? 2387. But they knew it was coming ahead of time. And it's already a known quantity. So I'm thinking no. Just from the fact I was referring to a minute ago. Just earlier in the season, Tysus says something about it'll destroy the negotiations. And they're talking about, so they already knew that the subspace supernova was coming. As you would with the super, because it's all about an expanding star. It's just there'd been so little contact between the two. It's not like it just started. If that was a true supernova, it doesn't take 8 or 10 years to get to that shape. It may have been a factor behind the Romulans' actions, since we've seen, at some point maybe we'll figure out that the reason the Romulans came out of their hole all the way back to season 1 Next Gen and the neutral zone, when they are said to have been basically in hiding since the Tomed incident, which we still don't know what the Tomed incident. That's one of those questions I'd like to see answered. I wonder what the Tomed incident was from 2411 or 2311, I think, top of my head. Anyway, so yeah, they're protestant, and maybe it'll wind up doing something that augments it. That I don't mean augments. I mean that amplifies it. Maybe that happens unintentionally. But good question. Now people are going to say, what negotiations? I'll go look it up. Well, maybe it's just one half a line and it flew right by. And if they go look it up, I don't know how many I mean, how Googleable is that going to be? How many people talked about that? I talked about it. In fact, I even discussed it with Aaron on Twitter. And I said, this has to be the Romulan evacuation negotiations. And he was basically like, yeah, bingo. And then I mentioned it in that SO. But other than that, I don't know how much attention. Maybe it got a little attention after I said something, but I don't know how much of it is out there to find. And I haven't seen what the who and what and how the memory alpha entry for any of that's been has been updated to. But that would be a good thing. And if I could help with that, then yay. You just saw an old episode of Columbo with William Shatner as the bad guy. A brief appearance by Walter Koenig as, stunt shows. It was a sweep show. I bet that was for sweeps. Fade into murder. Nimoy was in another one, Stitch in Time, and he was the bad guy. And you knew him. He was Dr. Mayfield. And you knew he was the murderer from the beginning, which happens with Columbo. The Columbos were all about how he wound up getting there. Oh, I talk about this in my second opinion, Michael. Yeah. Did anybody see this? Oh, you knew about the DS9 Ellison story, but not about the TNG. Okay, now do I know about the DS9 Ellison story? We'll see. Speaking of DST, right? The convention's coming back as Destination No Star Trek, August 18th, 20th in Birmingham, and unannounced date in Germany, both as hotel conventions, old school, not Comic-Con, trade holla. Yes, absolutely. I think we talked about that here. The best episode, really the best, Uncle, is the one with Shatner and Nimoy. There's that clip that's out where you can see them both bumping into each other in the same scene. Oh, cool. Your only gift was the Discovery Season 4? Yay. Cool. Thank you. I knew it was, yes, Marie Kondo. I couldn't think of Kondo. That's exactly what I mean. That person that advocates for empty little lives. Do you want to live in a Barbie dollhouse? Nothing between the cracks? Then go for Kondoism, or whatever she calls it. There you go. Thank you. I want to be able to do this. The cookbook from Chelsea Monroe Castle, who's a professional cookbook person. And she's got franchise help in on that too. Of course, a guy named Cochrane should be involved in Trek. To be fair to Picard Season 2, they had the commentary they wanted on immigration. The reality is there is no resolution possible because it continues in the 21st century, so they can't fix it in any meaningful way. But pointing attention to it, calling it out, even for a year, for a show or two, that's a point. That's a fair point. And fulfilling Star Trek's, legacy is trying to point to these things, even if there is no obvious answer. Unused plots like the bug parasite conspirators. Yes. Well, unfinished plots. The German word gift. Gift is the German word for poison? Wow. Let's see. Is the audio in seconds away from everything else too? Not oh, no. Sorry, maybe maybe you can just do a reset. Out of sync. Yes. Hopefully not. Okay, we've turned into the who did you binge watch Star Trek Elsewhere competition. Shatner, an episode called The Glass Eye from 1957 in an Alfred Hitchcock. Mother, May I Go Out to Swim. Oh, those Hitchcock titles. Well, Dominic, you loved Picard season 2. Don't understand the low IMDb ratings. Next time, I think time will tell on that. We'll see. I know a lot of people were disappointed. I just enjoy seeing it. So I love Larish, and I'm sad that it looks like she's going to go away now. Although once they started having a chemical attraction there between the two, that's what you. But I'm glad she got the chance to shine, playing her actual identity character. Oh, there we go. Let's see. What have we been at it? 90 minutes, gang? Oh, no. Well, I'm sorry. Season 2 was more fun than season 1, and at least they weren't killing everyone left, right, and center. Good point. Good point. Oh, my goodness, gang. I am so sorry if we have... we'll see if we can't fix that when we repost. Yes, Threshold, and I mean Threshold the series, folks, not Threshold the Voyager episode. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Marco Limo and a Gunsmoke. Wow. Wow. Trek Talks is what Star Trek Day should be. Well, there have been, in the pure early pandemic Zoom days, I think Star Trek, there's an excellent panel before anyone knew any of them, barely knew their names, or not their names, much less their faces. The Strange New Worlds Writers Panel was excellent and gave you an excellent taste, a vibe, feel. When I saw the writers tearing up about the honor of writing Star Trek, and all of them came from different backgrounds. It was a wonderful clue, and I was telling everybody, go watch the replay, and it's still up. The 2020 Star Trek Day Strange New Worlds Writers Panel. It's still awesome and very telling. And now that you've had a season to see what they did, it's very telling. Thought it was a bowling shirt. I guess from there up it would seem that way, wouldn't it? And having the black panel back here, yeah. Oh, thank you. We're trying to get it out there. That was it was actually kind of Scott's brainchild as we were trying to figure out what was good and bad about the way I was doing YouTube as we adapted to YouTube. Oh, there's a write-in. I didn't get that it was feeling okay. I'll go back. Well, I guess I've sent it, but everybody else add Adam as a write-in. It gives me something to say when we do the recap show. The Space Hippies Band. Yes, that was Charles Napier, Adam, country musician, and he was the general in DS9's in Little Green Men. I want to say yes, but not sure. Obviously, there's different generation there. You can see them right there in their prime in the mid-late 60s. Hey, Jim. And you're not alone, sir. You are not alone. Hey, Analysis. I think it's been a while, but good to see you too. Are they working on a Starfleet Academy series? That's been one of the things bandied around. It's got a different producer than was first rumored with it, but I think it's in the mill. That might even be the one that's out before Section 31. Do I know if he was paid for his archive footage as Kruge from 3 in 4? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a standard SAG thing or if it's contract to contract, because I don't know if they knew what 4 would be when they paid him and did his contract for 3. So either he had a contract that was open-ended for that, or it was a contract that said, this is Star Trek, we may be doing sequel footage and you'll never be, don't ask to be paid for it again. I don't know. And how much clout did he have in 83? That's interesting. Yeah, it's a good concept, but then I think we did the math and figured out that it was too late, unless it affected it somehow. Yeah. No, that was canon in a vacuum for a decade, and now they have clearly said that it is the Romulan sun that goes supernova, not the Hobus supernova. Because the whole Hobus fix, Star Trek 09 had it spreading through sectors of space. A supernova affects the region immediately to it, but not further than another star away. Like Sol to Alpha Centauri is our closest star, and it's what, 4.3 light years. So, if that's an average, a typical, the idea that the supernova was threatening the Federation and it was spreading across sectors, and that's where the comics and all came up with the shockwave subspace supernova. It was not a typical supernova, and then it was closer to the boundary than, but somehow it only affected and blew away Romulus and Remus and didn't affect planets on other inhabited systems in all that Anyway, it was a mess. It was another, Kelvin, we don't need no stinking science advisors or guides or parameters, because no one's going to care about all that stuff. It's back to the Harv Bennett arrogance of Chekhov in Star Trek 2. So no, the supernova is the Romulan star itself. Yes, Marina and Jonathan were big time regular voices on Gargoyles. Absolutely, it's fun to listen. If it's findable, surely it's findable. You once heard that the parasite conspirators were supposed to be the Borg. Yeah, the books came up with a offshoot Trill symbiont thing. And that was one idea. They were also talking about being ants-ish, but humanoid. So there you go. Oh, and one more Shatner, a non-Trek period Shatner in Outer Limits. Yes. Thank you for that cast note there from Gargoyles. Yeah, the burn. See, but the burn was not called a supernova. The burn was, let's create a situation totally from a one-off random mix of factors. So we get to set all the rules, because the minute you call it a supernova, then you're dealing with current science. Are you going to say, okay, in 200 or 300 years, our definition of supernova has changed to fit this, but it's got to be grounded. The burn, and I'm much more appreciative of the burn as an event and with its impacts than I am for the explanation of it. Alien Kid screams at the wrong place at the wrong time is kind of weak. And I will say this again. I love the impacts and the ripple effects from the burn. That was cool storytelling and setting up and set up all kinds of scenarios and all different, ripple effects wherever you happen to be. I just don't think, I think The Cause would have been good for a two-parter, but to hang a whole season on it felt a little weak. One of these days I will do a rewatch of all Discovery, and I'll look at all these things that I saw in the moment and maybe have a second take. But that's my, when you go with your initial gut reaction and you see so many other people with the same gut reaction, there you go. Are we coming down to the end here, I guess? Thank you. Getting down. End of the chat. It's the end of the chat as we know it. It is. We've been at it right about an hour and a half, I guess so. Oh, hey, thank you, Janet. And I'm glad the holidays is a time. That's the one thing about taking that last week off. A lot of people were off week, and maybe we would have found some new eyeballs and folks to watch later. But it is what it is. I appreciate the time off. I got a little cleaning done, but a lot more to go. So everybody, I think we're going to end the chat there. And once again, thank all of our Patreons. Thank you so much, gang. If you want to, if you can help us out, it is patreon.com/Trekland Live, just $5 and $10 a month. You take your pick. I appreciate all the help and support. I intentionally kept this simple. We do have Portal 47 as a program. If you come over to LarryNemechek.com, there's a ton of stuff up right now. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can take part in these fun polls and some other thoughts. I'm going to try to be better about the newsletter twice a month, not carpet bomb anybody. And keep up. I restarted my blog. It's not just because I communicate so much on Tuesdays Live by video because it's easier and faster. But I realize there are some things that people appreciate in blog form and written out form. I've got some ideas for a couple of the shows as we go through hiatus time coming up. But if you're over there, you're on my newsletter, and you're also getting the info and the reminders on how to take part in the cruise treks here in LA on the day of and the day before and the day after the cruise debarks here, embarks and disembarks. And you don't have to be on the cruise. You can be in LA and just take one of the days. That's cool. Or that's a 1 day. And then the big 10-day that we do with partner with Geek Nation Tours and Terrace with celebrities, with more to come. In fact, I've got to get on that this month and see who's going to fill out the rest of the bill for our 10-day event. All of that is there on my homepage, LarryNemechek.com. Whew. And once again, a shout out to the Trek Files is up. Thanks, everybody, for all of our Trekophiles spelled with an F. I know we got a lot of them here watching live and later. So we're there on Facebook. That's where the doc is. We're actually where the audio is, anywhere you catch your podcast. All the podcasts from Roddenberry are great. There have been a lot of really amazing Sci-Fi 5-minute moments in sci-fi history that comes out every weekday. If you haven't caught that, you should. I've contributed a couple of them, but across the wide girth and width of science fiction and across the years, it's really a fun little, it's a nugget. It's what I try to make Second Opinion be, and a lot of fun. Other than that, again, remember, I'll have a better reminder next week, but Trek Talks 2 is coming Saturday, January 14th. It'll be all day. You want to jump in, and if you can throw some money in, that's fine. It's like a telethon, but there'll be a full long day chock full of Trek folks. I'll be hosting one of the panels. I think John Billingsley and Bonnie Gordon are the all-day long hosts, I believe, this year. That's cool. And then I also want to throw out a reminder that you can go to Seventh Rule and Virtual Trek Con's Facebook page and vote for the categories of the Lappy Awards, the second annual Lappy Awards, the Live Long and Prosper Awards. And if you're on my homepage, you can check out the Double Team Deal offer, which is the big end, a big gift if you came out really good doing next year. Or if you just want to come in with Portal, be simple, but get a great deal and some extra bonus, some bonus stuff. Check that out too. Sorry for the glare. That will be up through Friday, midnight Friday Pacific. Okay, gang, if you want to jump in, if you've been thinking about it, if you got through the holidays and you're still afloat, and you're looking forward to it, because it's going to be, as we've been saying here, an insanely amazing year. I think, I feel, don't want to overdo it, but I feel a veil of optimism descending here upon us, and between Trek and maybe the world at large, maybe we'll figure this thing out. And on the Trek side of things, I'm happy to be there with you, whatever step of the way you want to be. And we'll be here every Tuesday. We're going to be tweaking the format a little bit going forward from week to week, but I think we'll still be here every Tuesday. And I love it when as many of you can join me live. And yes, even those watching later on YouTube, I think we're doing better there too. So Second Opinion is up. Cadet Alice is out there also. There's a lot to look forward to. I've got to catch up, Cadet Alice, with the rest of Prodigy, and we'll get those up too. Bring you a little Prodigy fun, even when we're all awash in Strange New World and Discovery as well. I guess that's it, gang. So yes, as we heard, stay healthy, do all the things, Stay woke. Check your sources. It may be a bumpy night after all in some ways here in the States and around the world as well. Good things are happening, though, I feel like. It may be just a hair easier to come in and trek well, everybody.